Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Fable, my dark fairy tale island, and my island is almost done. We only have to do a few more builds, and one of the main areas that is completely empty is this vertical beach all down the right hand side of Fable. There is nothing going on. And I want to do something a little bit different for this video today. I don't want to make as many cuts. I feel like me searching through my inventory is something that I normally cut out of my videos, but for the sake of just having a chill time to talk with y'all and work on these beaches and show the reality of how long it takes me to sort out items too is kind of interesting. I love me some short content. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love YouTube shorts. They're amazing. But sometimes you just need like super long format. You just want to put something on in the background. That is this video, 100%. We're just going to be working on these beaches almost in real time. I am cutting out going into my storage and some needless running in circles that I have done. But other than that, I'm leaving in every time I'm going into my storage when I am just wandering a little bit within reason. Here I'm collecting some shells off of the beach to kind of just clear it out and also to show you the beach areas that we're working with. These vertical beaches are always kind of a pain in the ass because it's like they're so small. It doesn't feel right to face the builds towards the camera because in a real beach, you would want to face it out towards the water. A lot of the builds that I'm making don't face any direction. They're just decorations of flowers and pathing and weeds and that kind of thing. But I do add in a pumpkin patch and a fishing area. And I'm breaking up the builds that actually have context to them with builds that are a little bit more just like space fillery. I also feel like if the beaches are completely filled, like build, it makes the island, just from my personal perspective, look a little bit crazy if the beaches are completely filled. And I don't think that that is just me making excuses for not enjoying decorating the beaches. Like when I've walked through islands that are finished, even my own finished islands, and I've done like a thorough build on every single beach, the island feels like it has no breathing room. It's just full of stuff. Build at the top of the beaches, the northmost beach area, I'm just adding in flowers and glowing moss, and I've kind of made like a little pergola area right on the rocks, which I think is super cute. I was gonna make it into a proper like building, but I kind of like it just being a little way station, just a little rest point out on the rocks. Watching myself do this build, I'm just reminded of how many areas that are similar to this that I've been working on Fable recently. Now that I have most of the actual builds, especially the bigger builds, but even smaller builds that I was planning to do on this island are now finished. And I am just going through and filling in the areas that are quiet in between these builds. There's some builds that don't really work to go close to each other. For example, like I have a little fairies town, and if I put like a store right beside a fairy village, then it would look kind of unsettling, like it needs to be nestled into a very overgrown forest. So I've been kind of struggling with what to call these areas. Calling them filler doesn't really feel great. It feels more like they're just me throwing down items and natural items and hoping for the best, but really these are just like quieter areas on the island, which I feel like are important. And I'm trying not to make excuses for it either. Like, oh my God, I think I'm just a creative person and I would love for every absolute inch of this island to be filled with the most mind-bogglingly creative spectacle of imagination that could ever be born from the earth. But at the end of the day, these are vertical beaches and they're not that big of a deal. Like, they just aren't. There's areas of this island that I spent a lot of time and effort to plan and like make custom designs for. And heck, even this little area of path, that is a custom design that I made from scratch. So even still, there's effort put into this little tiny path on this beach out in the middle of nowhere at the back corner of my island. It's not that deep. And does it bring me joy to see this little area? Honestly, it's not bad. It's just a little walkway to this pergola, essentially, covered with weeds. I don't know why I'm analyzing the absolute shit out of it. Someone stop me. This is an exercise in how to not absolutely tear yourself to shreds for being a normal human being. I'm making an Animal Crossing island. I am not solving world hunger. Goodness gracious. So what if it's a filler build? I'm almost on this island. I love this island. It's honestly one of my favorite islands that I've ever made. I think it stands in like the Lil Branches Islands Hall of Fame, to be honest, because it brings so much of things that I've loved in other islands all congealed into one. It also proves to me that I have gotten better over time creating Animal Crossing islands. I have improved my decorating skills. The entrance alone is something that I would never have done. Like even the fact that I'm standing next to a gingerbread house and a Jack and the Beanstalk area that is a pretty nice looking little perspective build. You know what? I'm allowed a little silly beach that really doesn't have any purpose other than to be filled in with nature and cute looking. And that's okay. I'm like more trying to convince myself than I'm trying to convince anybody else. Hey, if somebody else also believes me in what I'm saying, that's great. But I would also just like it for Taya to get off my back kind of vibe. And I am almost done with this silly little path that I've been overanalyzing to absolute shit. I'm going with the red leaf piles instead of brown. I feel like the contrast against the path that I'm using is really cool when I use the red leaf piles. But I just kind of got into the habit of using whatever leaf pile I had on hand. There are yellow leaf piles everywhere on this island. There are brown and there are red ones, but I at least tried to keep it consistent per build, using one per area, like inside of each other, but sometimes it's multicolored and there's nothing wrong with that either. Now moving on, we are going to be doing a little pumpkin patch. And did I forget that pumpkins would not grow on the sand? Yes. If you have an already established produce plant like a vegetable, an already grown pumpkin will grow. But if I'm just planting pumpkins, which is what I was doing, they will not grow. And I did water them for 3 days, time traveled. And of course, they didn't grow at all. And I was like, on the 3rd day, I was like, wait a minute, these should have been pumpkins. Anyways, I do end up going to a treasure island to get grown in pumpkin plants so that I can replant them here. But for now, they are just gonna be watered sprouts for a while, just stunted in their growth. When I picked them up, I did scatter these little sprouts all through the island. I do like using pumpkins and other produce as like decoration as an actual plant in certain areas, especially things like potatoes and pumpkins and even sugarcane and wheat can look really cute as an actual plant, just isolated away from a bunch of other crops kind of thing. And while little Taya continues to build, I'd like to share with you a little thing that I found on Pinterest, which really helped me a lot today and actually inspired me to finally sit down and do this voiceover when I really wasn't feeling like it at all. It goes like this, and I'll put it on screen too. Not okay. I am not okay today. So in the absence of okay, what else can I be? I can be gentle. I can be unashamed. I can turn my pain into connection. I can be a student of stillness. I can be awake to nature. I can sharpen my empathy against the stone of my discomfort. I am not okay, but I am many worthy things. And that is so cool. I think it's a good reminder for like when I feel poopy, which has been happening a lot lately, even though I haven't made a, 5 more things to do when you feel like shit video. I do love those though. They are very fun to find out like, what is a chaotic, cathartic thing to do on your island for no good reason at all? I just feel recently like not at my tip-top best. But it is true. What else can I be? I can still be worthy of a lot of other things. I can still connect with community. I can still call my sister and, talk with her about things. I can still be a gentle person. I don't have to let the fact that I don't feel okay turn me into anything that I don't like or make me feel bitter or like a victim in my own head. I just thought it was cool and, thought I would share that. If you're not feeling okay today, just know that you are worthy of so much more, and think about all the other things that you can be, even if it's just a student of stillness, which I feel like is such a cute and beautiful way to put it. I'm just practicing and studying being still and what that means, and knowing that I'm still okay, even if I'm just being completely still. Sharpening my empathy against the stone of my discomfort is so cool. I love writing. Writing is so neat. The fact that somebody else can communicate a deep feeling of humanness by words on a page is crazy to me. Such a cool outlet. And this little pumpkin patch is coming along so well. As you can see, I went ahead and watered these plants that are not going to grow on the beach, but I had a lot of hope. That was me being very hopeful / kind of delusional. And now we're on to the next little area, which is going to be a little picnic spot. I completely forgot that that was one of the builds that I did. But I had to go and clean up some areas of the beach. I had this little flower storage and I was like, well, I have these flowers here. I'm going to use them in the other areas of this beach build. And I ended up scattering a lot of these flowers out into the greater island as well. So it all worked out. I just used what I had available to me. But in the next build, I do end up doing a trip to an order bot island. And I do 2 order bots in this video. But yeah, I downloaded a new blanket code for this island and I am obsessed with it. I don't know why I didn't download like a patchwork quilt before, but it makes so much sense. This fall quilt is literally perfect for this island. I want to go back and customize about 1 billion things with this exact code because I'm like, why didn't I have this? Why didn't it strike my mind? Also, this would be a custom design that would be very, I think, easy to create. Not anything against the path at all, but I can tell how it was made, and I really love the idea of making a custom patchwork quilt for an island. I think that that is so precious. I have been a little custom designed out recently, so I haven't made any, but we will be starting a new island very shortly, and there will be ample custom designs to make on that island, so maybe I'm just gearing up. I am myself in a quiet mode. I am myself a filler build. We've come full circle. I am the filler build. Right now, my life is in a what am I trying to say? My life is in a filler build mode at this moment. I'm really just trying to create areas of simplicity. We're not doing any entrance builds in the greater scheme of my life right now. What phase are you in? If you are an island, what phase are you in? Are you like pre-getting 3 stars? I feel like right now I am. This is very true to me. The builds are all, the big ones are done, everything's in place, and now I'm filling in little areas, filling in the little gaps, the tedium. I feel the tedium of life upon me. Anyways, it's also snowing in April. Like, it's kind of melting now, thankfully, but this morning it was snowing, and there's snow on my neighbor's roof right now, and it's making me so angry. Like, just melt. It's April 11th right now, please. Also, I smell. Hey, look, we're getting into the chaotic moment. Hey, we were serious and deep and like talking about the build, and now I'm sweaty and irritated that it's snowing outside. I'm not okay, but I'm worthy of many things, and I'm worthy to take a shower later. Maybe I'll take a little break from recording this voiceover and go take a shower. Go clean my stinky bod. Ew. See, Ew, ew, Taya. Like, why do I say these things? Disgusting. I shuffled things around a lot on this little picnic blanket. I feel like that is what you have to do when you're making a picnic area. Most of the time, I don't just put everything down immediately and have it all sorted out. I love to have a book, a snack, something to drink, and some kind of lighting on my picnic areas, which I'm not a huge picnic area person. Like, I don't tend to make a whole lot on an island, maybe 2 or 3 at the most. But I do love them. When I see a picnic area on somebody else's island, I'm always like, oh my God, that's adorable. And then for some reason, when I do it on my island, I'm like, that's so basic. Why are you doing this? I'm like, sometimes the basic builds are the best ones. I didn't like that little step through, so I do end up moving that candle. Here I am testing the step through to see if it irritates me or if I'm okay with it. I end up deciding that I am not okay with it after playing around with that for a second. And this, how do I figure this out? I don't even remember what I do. I do figure out a way so that you can run straight through it. But here is my thought process, my brain noodling away. For a second there, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is okay. I think I'm fine with it. And then I have to step through it a couple more times before I'm like, no, I hate that. Especially on a beach build, I feel like having anything that obstructs you, or even having, for example, like flowers that you know you're gonna run through. I've tried to keep the flowers to the edges of the beach so I don't run through them. Do I end up running through a flower later in this very video? Yes, I do. And am I at this exact moment putting flowers more center to the build? Yes, I am. So, you know, the rules are there to be broken as well. And intentionally or unintentionally. I'm kind of happy with leaving more of this build in because it is a relatively small area on my island, these beach builds. And so I think it's cool to just kind of show them in real time, like my thought process, and not just make each one of these a short video. Because really, I could have done that too. I could have just made each one of these little builds a short video. But then I don't get a chance to just talk and rant. And I think that's what I needed. I feel like this voiceover right now is healing a part of me. I needed to do this, to just chat to myself. It's different from when I'm on a stream because although I love a stream because I'm chatting and I'm like getting other people's opinions on what I'm building. You guys give me ideas for items all the time too. And like, of course, we have delightful, beautiful conversations all the time. Where would I be without this little branches community? I don't even know. Actually, that makes me kind of choked up to even think about it. That being said, I really do enjoy the times when I'm just on my island recording and building, and then I get a chance in this moment in the voiceover to think about the build more and just talk free form. And I can talk as much about the build or as little about the build as I want. And then I can go back and edit what I'm saying as well, which is fun because I end up saying more and packing a lot more, I feel, of myself into the video because I'm able to just continuously stream of consciousness talk about the build, about life, about my own thought processes and everything like that. So if you do like it, give me a like, subscribe if you're not already, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I feel like I do need these builds where I'm showing more. Also, I feel like sometimes when I'm just doing like a short form video, it feels like too fast sometimes. Although I do love the fast style of editing too, because it's a lot more like condensed and it's to the point. It's like, these are the items that I'm using. Boom, 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 boom. Put together. Done. There's the build. Whereas this is more like you see me going through my storage and like, do I want to use this item? Do I even know what I'm going to my storage to grab? Not all the time. Going back briefly to what I was saying about like a video being a different environment than a live stream, for example, or a short form video, and being able to share more of myself because I'm going back and editing what I'm saying in a way of like taking out big long gaps. I pause for long periods of time. I end a section of me recording this voiceover and then go back and listen to it and pick up where I left off and can follow a train of thought a lot more easily, because on a stream, of course, there are multiple people talking, and I love that energy too. Like, I'm definitely an extrovert. I really enjoy when there's a lot of different ideas and people are able to, like, throw out items or say what's going on in their day, and we all can, lift them up or send them hugs or even just celebrate good things with them as well, which is so lovely. Overall, thinking about this stuff kind of feels like I'm talking about how the sausage is made, which I don't enjoy doing. I don't enjoy like reflecting out loud on my stream about streaming or on a video about recording a video. It just kind of happens sometimes. Maybe I'm feeling incredibly introspective today or something, but moving on from all of this, how the sausage is made, gonna make myself emotional just thinking about it. I did do an order bot order because I wanted to get a fish drying rack. It's an item that I haven't used in a really long time, actually, and it just kind of struck me as something that would be perfect for that little fishing area. So I did make an order bot order, started one, and then just got back into cleaning up, and I thought I'll move on to the next build, and when I think about what I want to do for the next build, I'll add items to that, which did end up working out really well. This little stretch is kind of the weirdest stretch of beach because it's very long and there's no like distinctive outcrop of like wider land in this little area. So I ended up making this another kind of pathway through, but just adding in all these extra flowers. At first I was like, do I really want to add in all of these flowers that are like vastly different colors? And then I thought, no, this is very whimsical. It's very like storybook to have all these different colors and textures of like flowers in this little area. And then closer down to the south end of this beach is my little tavern that I made on stream the other day. And it turned out so good, the tavern, that behind the tavern, I decided to do a little storage area. So a bunch of barrels and crates, like they've just gotten a big delivery. And there are some of these barrels and crates and things on the right-hand side of the tavern, closer to where Captain's Dock is. And it's just kind of a continuation of that, which I think is perfect for this beach. Now I have a very like out of left field question to ask you because it's something that I saw online yesterday and I am curious to do it. I am definitely going to be doing this to my Kindle because I've started wanting to collect more like EPUB files that I can actually own instead of Amazon owning my books. So the question is, has anybody else had any experience with modding their Amazon Kindle specifically? And is there any like advice that they would have for that? I know that it's not illegal because it's like open software and it's just installing different software, even though they call it jailbreaking, which sounds not legal at all. It's definitely just adding software that does not break your Kindle at all that I know of. But if anybody has experience with, I would love to hear it because I would love to be able to start collecting my own media and keeping my media safe from being changed or fully removed from my Kindle in the future. I did hear some stories of like Kindle changing the cover art for a book when it's in your library already to treat it more like an advertisement. I've also heard of books fully being removed from people's Kindle. It is nice to know that you own the media that you own. Even with what's happening with the Switch 2 and digital games being more popular than physical hard copy games, it makes me want to own physical media. Like even DVDs, I've been getting a craving to actually have a small collection of DVDs and, my favorite television shows, just my favorite things, being able to collect those in physical form so that I have them regardless of what subscriptions I have at the time, And it's funny that in this conversation of collecting your own physical media, I'm like, I want to collect more EPUBs for my Kindle. It's just that I love my Kindle so much. Like, It's so convenient. I love to read on it. It's like all my books are in one place, and it's just so cozy to read in bed at night with a screen that is just easy to hold, and like it's so cozy. I can't recommend a Kindle enough, but I don't want my media to be owned by somebody else. I want to be able to have control over it and to know that it's not going to change or go anywhere. Like, that's the benefit of physical media, is that you know that it's not changing or going anywhere. And that's kind of the comfort that I want from modifying my Kindle. Oh my God, that conversation went on so much longer than I thought. You know, when you start talking about something, you're like, I didn't know I was going to get into it like that. Well, that's what happened. And I hope you noticed me trying to pick up the candle off the top of that. No, I was trying to pick up the seaweed. I hope you noticed me trying to pick up that seaweed a little bit ago and failing continuously to pick up the seaweed, picking up everything around it until my pockets were full. And they're like, you can't pick up anything else. You jerk. You jerk. Anyways, I completed my little fishing area, and now I'm just filling in with wheat fields and glowing moss and all of that. Back to physical media. I only own 3 DVDs right now, which is so funny. They are Fiddler on the Roof, the first season box set of Arrested Development, and Fantastic Mr. Fox by Wes Anderson. And if you know me, that is a very good description of my personality. If you are curious about who I am as a person, one is an old musical that with a lot of religious undertones and tradition versus like going your own way. And it's so long, but the songs are so and then also freaking oh my gosh, what's the matchmaker, make me a match, find me a find, catch me a catch. Night after night in my bed I'm alone, so bring me a match all my own. Like, incredible. There are many other songs. I should watch that one soon. Anyways, Arrested Development, hilarious. I love a comedy. I love a sitcom. It's witty, it's cute, it's hilarious and silly and stupid and amazing. Do not watch the Netflix reboot. I freaking hate the Netflix reboot. And Fantastic Mr. Fox. Fantastic Mr. Fox used to be my all-time favorite movie. I am absolutely obsessed with Wes Anderson. I'm sorry, Jess, I do need to work on your island. I know that. It's plaguing me. It's haunting me. Who would love to see me finish Moonrise, my sister's island, all in one consecutive video? I think I could do it in video form. Just me going off grid for a time in order to finish my sister's island that she entrusted me with a long time ago. I love Wes Anderson though. Back to Fantastic Mr. Fox. And Fantastic Mr. Fox is also based off of a Roald Dahl book, which Roald Dahl was such a huge part of my childhood. I love his books so much. They're so like dark, but like kids book dark in a way that's like creepy. Like the BFG, it was like my childhood. That book shaped me as a person. I was obsessed with it. I also had a teacher in like grade 2 who was like huge into Roald Dahl and would read us his books all the time. And that's like a part of my childhood. Like these creepy books that are also like so heartwarming though. James and the Big Giant Peach, like how creepy is that movie? How creepy is that story in general? And Fantastic Mr. Fox does have some creep factor based on the way that Wes Anderson interpreted the story and made these like claymation, but it's so fun and silly. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So those 3 movies are definitely like core tenets of my personality. If I were to start a society, the core tenets would be those 3 movies. No, maybe not. Maybe we'd throw Sound of Music in there. Maybe we'd throw Emperor's New Groove in there as well as another flavor of my personality. But I think movies in that way, because I grew up around physical media too. My mom was a huge movie collector, book collector, like just we had swaths of physical media surrounding us at all time. And that's something that I've really let go of, slash actually tried to extricate from my life at certain times. We tried out minimalism for a little bit. And I also, as a lot of you guys know, I was also like super religious for a long time, way too long. And that kept me away from like a lot of physical media. Like, I don't even know how Arrested Development has survived through that time. I think it's because I actually lost the DVDs for a time while I was, purging myself of everything that wasn't perfectly Christian and perfectly like quote unquote wholesome in my life. And, there's probably a lot of things that are in landfills right now because I just straight up threw them out. And I have huge regrets from doing that in my life. But getting back to that, getting back to who I am post doing that is super important. And why has this conversation was this just like hiding inside of me? Dear diary, I feel like I just unleashed like Pandora's box by starting this conversation about my Kindle. Who knew that all of this was hiding behind that? I've been getting a lot of these kind of videos on my YouTube homepage of like old technology hacking into like iPods to make them cute and customize the screens, or like even 3DSs, like people playing on older equipment or using dumb phones and that kind of thing. And look, I grew up in the 90s. I have no desire to return to that technology of the 90s exclusively because it sucked. It was not cute. Like, it's so funny to watch now, like to watch Sex and the City or Seinfeld or even Friends or like any of those old sitcoms where there wasn't technology easily accessible at people's fingertips. Like, that was cool, but it was also like super limiting because I can remember like I had a cell phone in my second year of college. I believe that was when I got a cell phone. So the first year of college, I did not have a cell phone, and I had to literally buy payphone cards, like long distance cards, to phone home on a payphone, me standing at the corner of a gas station, like as it's getting late, like calling home, being like, Mom, I have 30 minutes. Like, I'm just calling to let you know that I'm alive. Like, which is so funny. And I am glad that I had that experience, but it's kind of annoying. In my second year, like I was saying, in my second year of college, I got a cell phone, and my boyfriend at the time did not. He was like, no, I'm not getting a cell phone. Like, I have a home phone, like you can call me there. But this was the kind of person that was impossible to find, impossible to track down. Not that I was trying to, that sounds so creepy. I couldn't track him down like a beast in the woods. But like, it was frustrating when it was like, oh, I'll see you tomorrow. And then like, does anybody know where this person, do you know where, did you see him? Do you know where no, nobody knows. Okay, well, I guess I'll just go to hell then. Like, I don't know. It was annoying. It was not all just like beautiful moments of solitude and introspection. I see in some of these videos that people really go hard for the nostalgia of these old items, and even though there was some kind of like beauty in the simplicity of that era, it wasn't all fantastic. Can we throw out the not being able to get a hold of somebody and just being like, well, they might be dead, or they might be just not answering their home phone. They might not have a voicemail machine attached to their home phone. Hopefully I run into them at some point today in real life. But I do, because these device videos have been popping up so regularly on my feed, have a certain nostalgia for physical media, not the connection part, not the phone part. Keep that. I want to be able to text somebody or call 911 if I'm in an emergency kind of vibe. Like, that's cool. Hey, that's pretty cool. Being able to get directions on my phone wherever I am and not being lost. Love that. But bring back being able to control buying a DVD and then just having that buying a book and then having it on your shelf and lending it out to somebody, having people over to play a video game in real life, and just gratuitous things like props to play video games, like that Donkey Konga. You had to literally buy like the bongos for it, which was so much fun. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's just like playful and fun. Bring back fun. Hey guys, can we bring back fun? I feel like fun has we've lost it. My God, somebody like pull my mic away from me. I don't even know what I'm gonna call this video now. Am I decorating the beaches, or am I lamenting the decline of physical media? Who knows? Am I hacking my Kindle, or am I telling you a poem about how I'm not okay? We've been through so much together. I feel like I've grown as a person. I've grown and changed from Fiddler on the Roof to I'm not okay, but I'm many worthy things. I can't say that as in like this fake ass corny voice. I truly mean it. I'm not okay, but I'm many worthy things. I've had that poem open. It's not really a poem. Is it a poem? It's kind of a poem. I don't even know who it's by. If anybody knows, let me know. I found it randomly on Pinterest, but I love it. I love that sentiment. I love it. No. Lavanda? Back to the build for literally a split second. I'm just adding some random custom designs all throughout these builds to kind of make it cohesive, but I do go a little overboard on the custom design, so I do wipe some away because there is a limit, for me at least, to how many of these filler design codes look good. When I've added too many into an area, it's just too busy for the sake of being busy. And I did at one point open up my custom designs and start to make another stone design. I closed it down immediately because I was like, no, don't have the energy for this. Shut her down. But it's coming together well, and I still haven't ran through that flower. I will very momentarily run through this pink flower that I'm standing on top of. It was bound to happen. It's in a vulnerable spot. You ever put a flower in a vulnerable spot and you're like, guaranteed I'm going to run through this? Did I replace it? No, I didn't have a shovel on me when that happened, so we just left it as a little sprout. And I think sometimes those are cute on beaches. That's the story that I made up, and that's the one I'm sticking with. I actually like it better not in full bloom. Me just gaslighting myself into thinking that it's better that way. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you just have to gaslight yourself into thinking your island is amazing, and before you know it, you actually believe it. Speaking of things that I really do like, but that I feel kind of wrong or mean for liking, I was recently watching The Bald and the Beautiful. Hey, I'm a fan of Trixie and Katya. What do you want from me? But they were talking on a podcast from like 2 years ago. I was watching an old episode last night. The one, if you're familiar with their cinematic universe, the one where a cockroach flies onto Katya's arm. And I watched that part of the video, I don't know, 20 times. And this morning I woke up and it was the first thing that I watched when I woke up because I thought, I need to see that again. It's so funny and so viscerally relatable. Like, you know, when something is so relatable, a bug landing on you is a universal human experience. The experience of having an unwanted bug land on your body or close to you in a way that is frightening and immediately horrifying. And it was just so like, the way that it immediately shifted from a normal podcast into like Blair Witch style cockroach red alert. The way that Trixie barely responded to Katya's pain. Was just scrolling through her phone because she was over it, bored, uninterested. Your trauma of having a bug land on you, I'm over it. I'm done, actually, while you're having a harrowing experience with a freaking soap bar-sized cockroach. Horrific. Anyways, highly recommend. I love them. And here's another thing that I like. me just exhausting everything that I've ever wanted to talk to you about. I have to stream tomorrow and I'm using up all my stories. I hope you enjoy this video. Brittany Broski's new song, The Sun, is everything to me. It's been stuck in my head like crazy. I'm so obsessed with it. Her voice is like an angel and the message is so cool. I think everybody should listen to that song and really take a moment to think about it because it's so real. It's so real. It's so relatable to me. I love Brittany and I'm so excited for her. Hey, here's when I realized that I was not going to be able to get these pumpkins to grow. This is a new day. Every time you see me like re-watering them, so this is day 2, this is day 3 of me coming in and being like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be able to get them to grow because it's on the beach, you silly goose. Like, you see the days passing by that palm tree growing and me being like, why are there no pumpkins here on day 3? Teddy coming by to inspect my shame. Yes, I watered them 3 days in a row. So I went to another Orderbot Island to gather more pumpkins. And I thought that these would be like 3 pumpkins, but they're just one single one. So I don't know what ripe yellow pumpkin or like what the other item name is for a pumpkin that has 3 of them in it. But I was done. At this point, I was like, okay, each one of them got 1 pumpkin. That's fine. Filled in the rest with wheat fields and log stakes and some mush lamps. And we do add those into the actual build. So it wasn't all for nothing. I feel like anytime that I go to an Orderbot and I'm forced to get a few other items, I tend to get items more in bulk when I go to an Orderbot Island. So it is useful. And I have been meaning to make a new updated Orderbot video. I feel like I need to see what free ones are available and how easy they are to set up. I'm sure they're much easier than even when I started using them. I feel like now that I use Walty Wartooth and I'm pretty stuck on specifically one treasure island and I figured out how to use it, I'm really stuck in it. And it's just like, this is the one that I use. But I realize for new players who might not use Orderbots, it's like a lot of information to take in. Essentially, it's just about finding a Discord server and installing the software onto a computer. I've never used it on my phone, but I know it is possible to use it on your phone. I think that I briefly looked into it, but then got really confused. So I would recommend to people who want to do Orderbots to try it out on their computer versus their phone. If that's possible for you, I would do it that way. Anyways, now I have my pumpkins in place and I'm just putting down the other items that I gathered from the Orderbot. Log stakes for me are the ultimate beach decorating item. I love putting them against the river. I love putting them against the water because you can turn them and make them kind of fit into some of these weird angles of the ocean, and it makes it look like a more finished edge, like you've put a fence along the edge and kind of defined the build more or less. I do really enjoy a log stake moment on the edge of the beach. It adds a little bit of height to an otherwise like really sharp line that you can't pass. Also, the water tends to look cute, kind of like filling in around those log stakes as well. Beaches are so annoying in this game. I don't know, anything that you can do to just decorate them simply. I really should in the future decorate them as I'm going through the island, putting in these more filler areas as I go along instead of leaving them all to the very end, because it is tiring to just be decorating down a whole long beach area in one go. I don't know how I did it, honestly. I don't know how I actually buckled up and just... There were so many times when I thought I was just going to end the video where it was and be like, okay, I finished 3 beaches. That's good enough. But surprisingly, I did all of the beaches along this right-hand side. And I am grateful to my past self for just sticking it out and doing this. Thanks, Taya, for listening to a bunch of podcasts and locking in for a couple hours to finish this because it looks great. Like at the end of the day, All of my right-hand side beaches are done and it feels super good. I don't like how I put that mush lamp there, and I will be removing it shortly. I just had a little coffee break and some toast. I feel a lot more refreshed after having some toast with butter. And I, for some reason, felt the need to Google Hobbit meals in order. And they eat 7 meals a day, which is crazy. Breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies, afternoon tea, luncheon, dinner, and supper. That's crazy. And they're not small meals either. Hobbits are crazy. Hobbits, you're crazy. But it's no secret that fantasy is my favorite genre for books, for any kind of media. I love fantasy so much. And I've been thinking about writing a lot more. And it's interesting that Tolkien came up with this like mysterious race of people who love to eat and are super small, and like went down to the detail of the kinds of meals, the format of the meals that they love, which is fascinating to me. Like, you came up with a whole cultural identity for this group of people, and I find that such a cool creative outlet. I want to write a book. I want to write a book. I actually did just download Scrivener, and I'm just doing the free trial right now, but it looks like such a cool program. It's such a cool program. So who knows? Lil Branch's book coming in the next 15 to 20 years. A labor of love. And with that final wheat field placed, here are all the beaches that I decorated today, starting with this first one that we did at the northmost end into our little cute pumpkin patch. I love it so much. It looks so cute. I love that I just did yellow and white pumpkins too. Kind of blends in with the beach and makes it a little bit less busy. And then it's getting more orange through this area with the little picnic spot. I love the pumpkin pie here. It's so cute. And then into our fishing area, which is kind of more neutral. I love how that bucket and the fishing rod and the stool are placed together. It looks so close, but it's just because of the spacing. The way that that worked out was really good. And then we have a little like transition area and the little shipping yard with all of their barrels there for the pub and everything. It turned out so cute. I'm so happy with the fact that we got so much done in this video. And thank you so much for listening to me rant today. I clearly have a lot on my mind because normally I leave some little gaps in what I'm talking about where I just fill it in with music, but there are no gaps, and there are no gaps today in this video, and barely any cuts really to the original footage, just cutting out the standing still in the same spot for forever. But thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. A happy Friday, too, if you're watching this on the day that I'm uploading. And I'll see y'all tomorrow on stream on Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, for a beautiful live stream. And hopefully we can finish Fable. I have very few doubts. I think all we need to do now is finish my house. There are a couple small little beach builds, but they're minuscule and I will not bother you with them. But anyways, I hope you have an awesome day and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, everybody.